Hi.
How are you, Victoria Rowell? I'm your host, Vanessa James of Café Mocha2Go. We're so excited to have you here today.
I'm so happy to be here. Pleasure to be back at Café Mocha. Always been supportive. Thank you.
How are you with all, in the midst of all this COVID chaos, you've managed to create an amazing new show, which we're going to dive into very shortly. But first and foremost, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Very blessed. My family is safe. And even with the COVID, I was asked to direct a movie recently, which aired over the weekend on BET, Her. So that was exciting, about mental wellness, which is very important at this point with self-quarantine and COVID. So it was called Everything is Fine, and really spoke loudly to me as an African-American content provider, director, producer. I'm well and I'm working.
Right. Absolutely. So touch on that. Let's dive into it really quick on mental health. Tell us, a few takeaways from the movie and what it is that, I would say the biggest nugget of wisdom you can really share with our audience about why mental health checks are so important right now, specifically in this time.
It's very, very important in the Black community, especially Black therapists are very important. And at this time, if you have a pre-existing mental illness, this can be an extremely difficult period. It can exacerbate mental illness. We need to create safe spaces for ourselves within our families, not to call someone special, that we need to really take a look at, unfortunately, an over-indexing of African Americans and brown people in prison and Native people in prison, not being evaluated the way that they should be with mental illnesses and just being criminalized because of an illness or depression.
Angel has 5 children. She lives with her oldest son.
When they come and visit, it's very important for me to know that they are comfortable and happy.
It's really narrow for a small space.
My desire would be for my 17-year-old son to have his own bed.
That was amazing.
Oh!
Thank you. As people who are constantly wanting to reinvent and recreate, sometimes we don't realize we have good things, that we can and reimagine. So tell us about the concept of the show. I'm so excited to dive in on that. And I also saw that not only were you supporting families in LA, but also in Jamaica. So tell me about that.
Yeah, across the board, it's a global message. So to answer your first question, Trash versus Treasure is about reimagining space that may be a space that is the size of a studio or an udio, as I like to call it, because it's so small, no S, like I lived in Manhattan. But it's about your space. It's about creating space out of space and repurposing items. This is a recycling show, people. This is about going deep dish dive in Goodwill. I've always shopped at Goodwill, Habitat for Humanity, Restore, garage sales, found objects. Wipe them down before you come into the house. But yes, this is about looking at that broke down chair and turning it on its head and turning it into a table stand. This is about using an ironing board as a coffee table, as a dining table, as a desk for children doing homework. Right. The mighty, mighty ironing board. Don't underestimate it. It's really about the show being inspired by the sum of my experiences in foster care and watching people expand their space so that I could be included. So it's an homage to people out there raising other people's children. It's an homage to people out there living on the edge, paycheck to paycheck, frontline workers.
So it premieres at the end of this month, yes?
It's out already.
Oh, it's out
We are premiering now. You're not far off the mark, but it has launched. And you can watch it on UMC, you can watch it on Amazon's Prime Video, you can watch it on Roku, you can even watch the trailer by going to the website, trashversustreasure.com.
Victoria Rowell, I could talk to you for hours. Thank you for being such an amazing inspiration, above and beyond your 11-time NAACP awards. Of course, my mom was like, who are you talking to today? I said, Victoria Rowell, honey, she's young and the Restless. I said, yes. So we're wait, I'm going to pose you up. Huh?
In the interest of mom, sorry to interrupt you, but in the interest of mom and her love of daytime, I want to encourage our listeners and mom to listen to my podcast, which is wherever podcasts are available, Secrets of a Soap Opera Diva. As you know, with the resurgence of reruns, Young and the Restless reruns due to COVID, we've had to show the reruns, and the Winters family is front and center with Drusilla and Neil. So check out my podcast. I go behind the scenes and I talk about Black inclusion, Black history, where soap opera is concerned, from Brock Peters to Cicely Tyson, Ruby Dee. No one knew that they were soap opera stars back in the day. We called them soap opera stars back in the day. So I talk about that in my podcast, Secrets of a Soap Opera Diva, available wherever podcasts are available. So thank you for allowing me to include that. But trash versus treasure is at the top of the conversation.
All right. Well, listen, it sounds like you're incredibly busy. I'm going to continue to follow your story. Where can people stay in touch with you with all that you have going on?
Sure. At Victoria Rowell on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, and I stay LinkedIn.
Okay.
So just join me. We can have the conversation. Of course, I'll be back on Café Mocha, right?
Of course. Of course. Thank you so much. And next time I'm coming correct with a hat. I'm coming correct.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll be looking for that hat now.
All right.
Thank you so much.
So lovely having you. Congratulations on your show. I can't wait to watch.
Peace. # trash versus treasure UMC.
All right.